listening to the Rookie Big Board Podcast Network.
Welcome into the Dynasty Big Board, part of the Rookie Big Board Podcast Network. I'm your host, Anthony Correnti, joined by my co-hosts Ryan Searfoss and Eric Adams. Gentlemen, more projections coming. How are we feeling?
Good about half this division.
Yeah, disregard what division we're doing, but yeah, it feels good. We're I love coming to this podcast because every week we're a little bit closer. We're just a little bit closer to training camp.
And I feel like as we whittle, by the time we hate doing these, it's going to be time for the season.
Yeah.
Because that point will come.
Yeah. I don't hate doing these.
Where we're going to be like, the New York Giants. That's probably going to be the Jets.
We're looking forward to the East, the other side of the East. I can't wait to do the East. Not this East, though.
This East being the NFC East, so similar to last week, we're going to split it into two halves. First half will be this episode, the Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles full projections. Before we get into that, I just want to make sure that you know or remember that you can gain access to Rookie Big Board premium content over at patreon.com/theffeducator. This includes our dynasty rankings, Devy rankings, access to our engaging and active Discord channel, and the ability to ask us for personal advice on trades, your roster, and much, much more. So head on over to patreon.com/thefeducator, get signed up, $3 a month. Projections, NFC East. Start with the Dallas Cowboys, start with the quarterback. I want to go last on Dak because I'm really interested to see where we all shake out. So, Eric, why don't you kick us off? How do you have Dak Prescott statted out for the 2022 season?
Okay, so they threw the ball 647 times last year. That is 647. Amari Cooper's gone. Cedric Wilson is gone. I cannot see them throwing the ball 647 more times this year. I got him down to 610. I took 37 off. I got Dak throwing for 4,363 yards, 32 touchdowns, 4,363.
Okay.
And then 32 touchdowns, 10 picks. I have him rushing for 276 yards and 3 touchdowns. I have him at 328 fantasy points.
Foss, go ahead.
I have them still throwing a lot. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Even with losing who they lost, they have a lot of weapons. I'm at 630 attempts, 4,720 passing yards, 38 touchdowns, 10 picks, 160 on the ground with 2 more. So I'm at 348 points. Like, I have Dak balling, man. He's healthy this year. We were kind of forgetting he was hurt last year. Like, he wasn't Dak. It was still good.
I am the highest on Dak.
Is he your NFL MVP right now?
I'll say this. I have not done a ton of projections yet, but we talked AFC West last week. So we talked some good quarterbacks, right? Like that's a good group of quarterbacks. Yep. Dak's my QB1 so far. So, yeah, I have them throwing the ball 663 times. I think they're going to throw the ball a ton. I have Dak throwing for 5,064 yards, 35 touchdowns, 10 picks, 231 on the ground, and 2 scores. It's 358 fantasy points.
Wow. Yeah, I still have him 6th.
So, like I said, take it with a grain of salt because I haven't done everybody. I've done this division. I've done the AFC West and then like a couple random teams. But, yeah, I mean, the gap between them, it's Dak, Herbert, and Mahomes would be my top 3 right now, and they're all separated by less than 5 fantasy points. So it is close, but thought it was interesting.
You can get them plus 2,200 for MVP.
I should take that.
I mean, for what your projections are,
yeah,
throw a dub on it.
Yeah, but I think regardless, we all think he's going to be pretty good.
Yeah,
right. Like nobody sounds very, very low on him.
No, Eric hates him, and it's still really good.
Eric hates him, and he's having a great year anyway.
I don't really know who you guys have Dak thrown to here, other than an old fat running back, Tony Pollard, and then CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup coming off an ACL and Dalton Schultz. I don't like. I think Dak will be fine.
It's a lot
I
of
think
people
Dak
throw
is
to.
one of the best. I think Dak will still be one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but you don't just lose Amari Cooper and you're placing him with Jalen Tolbert and James Washington. I don't feel that great about that. I think there's going to be some growing pains here. And if the Cowboys were smart, they would use that uber efficient running back they have, not Zeke, the other one. And I don't think Mike McCarthy is a very smart man. Couple that with the fact that I think the Eagles are going to be the better team. I don't think the Cowboys defense is all that great.
Which means more passing.
Nah. More passing doesn't mean better. More volume doesn't equal quality.
Let's talk the pass catchers. I assume, Eric, you have Lamb pacing the group. And who's the next closest guy?
Still Gallup.
Okay.
Well, actually, Gallup still outpaces Schultz. I got Gallup with 109 targets. It doesn't sound like Gallup's going to miss beyond more than like a game or two. It sounds like he'll be back in September. So.
I should have asked that too. Did you projected him for a full season? So
I dropped him just a smidge just to account for that maybe one or two missed games. But he's still got 109 targets for me. He still catches 61 of them. 799 yards, so pretty much 800 yards and 6 touchdowns for Gallup. He'll be 177 fantasy points. That'll probably be borderline 3 territory for me. Maybe firmly in 3 territory.
And anybody close behind Gallup, or is it
I got Schultz.
Schultz, yeah.
I got Schultz, but no. I'm not Washington stinks. James Washington stinks. Jalen Tolbert is isn't he the one from South Alabama, right? That's him. That's Jalen Tolbert. Yeah, okay. And then I got a guy named TJ Vasher who I read about that apparently they like, who's like 6'5", and I'll just throw him in there. But like I don't know, Semi Fihoko.
Don't they still have Noah Brown?
I don't even know who Noah Brown is. I don't care. Like, no. I saw since I got this from you. You put Jake Ferguson. I do like Jake Ferguson.
I like Jake Ferguson too.
Maybe they could throw some 2 tight end sets in there. They got to do something because, like, beyond Lamb, Gallup, and Schultz, honestly, they don't even need to do something. They could really just run out 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back. They should do some 2 running back. We always say it.
Pollard shouldn't leave the field.
I would kill
him and Zeke on at the same time. You don't need to have, like you're saying, it's not much, but I mean, Lamb, Gallup, Schultz, and those 2 running backs is better than a lot of teams' weapons.
It is.
It's still a top 10 amount of weapons on a team.
So before we talk running backs, Ryan, how do you have the pass catchers? Like, what do you have Lamb statted out for, and then the notable guys behind him?
I have CeeDee Lamb doing fairly well. I have him at 20% market share, 138 targets, 1,240 yards, 11 touchdowns, so 281 PPR points. It's CeeDee Lamb season. It's coming.
We have the same exact amount of receiving yards.
1,240?
1,240.
Interesting.
We're going to be like, call it consensus on CeeDee Lamb, because I think we're all pretty much in the same spot.
Yeah, he's in my top 5. I think.
I think I'm
going to say he's top 5 in redraft now. Like, he's moved there to me.
Finish with this CeeDee Lamb, but I gave him 132 targets, 90 catches, 12, 17, and 12 scores. So 284 fantasy points. So yeah draft CeeDee Lamb. Hopefully you already had him.
Either CeeDee Lamb is what he is the last 2 years, which would not be good for Dallas, which I don't believe in because he's only 21 years old? I don't even know if he's 22 yet. Or he takes another step this year and becomes a truly elite wide receiver, which I think he will. I think we all think that. So.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking like last year he still had 1,102 yards and 6 touchdowns. Like, that's a good year.
Yeah, you need more, though. You're going to need more. Dallas has aspirations here. Dallas has Super Bowl aspirations. And Amari Cooper's gone. He needs to bulk up to be like 1,300 yards.
That's in 13 games started. So you add 3 more games on there.
4 more.
4 more games on there. 1,300 probably would have happened.
There you go.
He's doing everything right.
The bar has been set.
Yep. I have Gallup doing well. I have 113 targets, 828 and 8. And Schultz with 113, 861 and 10. Like, it's the big 3. James Washington's next in line. I have like 700 yards and like 4 touchdowns. Like, I'm not going to start him or want to play him, but if one of those receivers go down, I think the wheel's up.
Draft Dalton Schultz.
Yep.
Draft Dalton Schultz. He's going to be in my top. I think he's going to be in my top 5 tight ends this year.
He's going to scratch.
I'm not finished yet, but he ain't that far behind the big boys.
Yep. Yeah. He's going to be in for all the work he can handle. I agree. I think in terms of receivers and tight ends, it's those guys and James Washington and Jalen Tolbert are a ways behind. But let's talk the backfield before we move on to Philadelphia. The gap between these two is certainly not what it once was. Foss, how much work do you have Zeke getting?
A lot.
And Tony Pollard. Let's just hear them both.
I'm both getting a lot. Like, this team's going to run the ball a lot. They did it last year. Their pace of play is crazy. I have Zeke still with 232 rush attempts, 945 yards, 11 touchdowns, 69 targets, 291 receiving yards, touchdown. So 247 PPR points. I think I'm probably the highest on Zeke by a lot.
I am 12 less for fantasy points.
Okay, maybe not.
And how many points was it?
247.
I'm at 235.
I'm at 234.
Okay.
So
Pollard, 165 rush attempts, 727, 6 touchdowns, and 63 targets, 287 and 3. Like, they're pretty close. I just have more volume for Zeke and more efficiency for Pollard.
I have less receiving work for Pollard, but more rushing work for Pollard than you. Well, how many fantasy points?
197.
I'm at 193, so it basically evens out.
I have Pollard at 213. So highest, but not by a crazy amount. I gave Zeke 220 carries, 991, and 8 touchdowns to go with 45 catches for 300 yards and 2 scores. And Pollard was 184 attempts for 918 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns, but almost 400 through the air on 52 catches and another 2 scores there.
213 puts him at, on last year's stats, RB 14.
Let's go. Tony Pollard season. I'm going to have a ton of Tony Pollard. I already have a ton of Tony Pollard, but like in any redraft or anything too, I'm going to be hammering Tony Pollard.
I don't have that much Tony Pollard. I wish I did.
They're going to need both of them.
Sure.
They need both of them to be effective.
Make this offense dynamic.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk Philadelphia Eagles.
Flip, Philadelphia.
Perfect call.
I want to go last on Hurts.
On Hurts?
I know you guys hate him, and I want to try to bring some positivity.
I don't know if I hate him.
I have a great year for Hurts. I have a great year for Jalen Hurts.
Look, I think it's going to be another thing. Like, I'm still not really in on him at his cost in Dynasty, but in terms of seasonal or redraft, like I think he's going to have a good year. I just don't know if it'll be enough to keep his job. I'll start. I gave Jalen Hurts 3,900 passing yards, 3,979, 25 passing touchdowns, 13 picks, 730 rush yards, and 7 rushing touchdowns. So really not far off in total points.
29 passing touchdowns?
25.
25, okay.
25. How many PPR? How many points?
348.
Okay, just a little. I'm a little higher. I'm at 3,900 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, 14 picks, 637 on the ground, 10 rushing touchdowns.
Eric, what about you?
I have Gardner Minshew starting.
Yeah, baby. The stash is back.
I couldn't help
Flacco?
I couldn't help it. Flacco's not even on the team, Ryan.
Bring him back.
You got to come trade for Flacco if you want.
Yeah, you got to pay a premium to the Jets for Flacco.
They should trade
Jets
Hurts
legend.
and Minshew for him.
Get elite QB on the squad.
Hurts, I got him for 4,026 yards, so the most passing yards out of all of them, and I don't think he can throw. 23 passing touchdowns, 14 picks, 728 on the ground, 8 touchdowns. I got him for 345, so I am the lowest. I do hate him. That's fair. Look, man.
You will wear it like a badge of honor.
I will. Look, it's not like
He's gonna be like
it's not a
QB8.
vendetta against Jalen Hurts. It's the way the Eagles feel about Jalen Hurts. I don't know how many times we're gonna have to repeat this throughout the year. It's the way Jalen Hurts is felt by the Eagles. All right. They don't see a future franchise quarterback in him. They're always in the rumors of, oh, maybe we'll go for a quarterback this year, like they did around draft time. Oh, maybe we'll go for quarterback last year, like they did. It's annoying. It's annoying. And when you're playing Dynasty fantasy football and this guy's going, what, round 3, round 2? I can't make that investment. If they're not going to make the investment in him, then I can't make the investment in him. That's my problem. I will likely never have a Jalen Hurts share because of that, which stinks because this offense rocks. It's a very good offense.
Rocks.
So yeah.
All right, we're a Jalen Hurts podcast.
No, we're not.
I'm so happy about it. I've been on it all year, and you guys came out without me saying a damn word.
I'm only in on Jalen Hurts a season at a time. One season at a time, we're in on Jalen Hurts.
I mean, hey, man, if they don't win the division this year, he stinks out loud. Or he got hurt. There's no
Dallas
excuses. They're by far
an
the best
absurd
team.
amount of points, like me and Anthony have them getting.
Well, what about the guys Jalen Hurts is throwing the ball to? Let's talk these pass catchers. Is A.J. Brown the guy? Is A.J. Brown higher or lower in terms of fantasy points than Devonte Smith for you?
Lower.
Higher.
Interesting. I have A.J. Brown higher as well, but it's not terribly far off. Eric, you have Devonte Smith much higher or like?
No. Higher by 80 yards.
Okay.
And 14 points.
All right. So pretty close.
They're still fine.
Yeah. What do those two guys look like for you, A.J. Brown and Devonte Smith?
970 yards for A.J. Brown. I got him catching 69 balls and 6 touchdowns. I have them both with 6 touchdowns. Devonte Smith, I have him for 1,050, catching 75 balls. Like I said, 202 for Brown and 216 for Devonte Smith. Brown gets 20% of the market share. Smith gets 22. So it's close. It's very close. But I think Smith, second year in the system, more chemistry with Hurts. I also think just that type of Devonte. I've gone ad nauseum about this with Devonte Smith. I think he's literally one of the most uncoverable players in the NFL, and that plays. That will always play. So,
how many PPR points again for him?
216.
Okay.
What about you, Ryan?
So I have AJ Brown almost exactly at that 216. I have it 214. So I have him 22% market share, 112 targets, 10-14 at 7. Devonta Smith, I have 102 targets, 872 yards, 5 touchdowns. I'm a little worried about him in the red zone, I'm going to be honest. Like, that's the separator for me, like keeping him in that 200 mark. And I have Dallas Cowboys kind of balling out.
So do I.
I have him, and I feel like I'm too low. I have him at 91 targets, 758 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Like, I think Dallas Cowboys
You're too low.
I think Dallas Cowboys is going to ball. I'm
I
not
think
fun.
so too.
I feel weird putting him at like 19% for a tight end, but dude, he's we'll up it. We'll say 803 and 8.
How many fantasy points?
I like the 803. 193.
And how many for you for Goddard?
208.
Yikes! I'm way too low on Dallas Goddard. I only got him at 167.
Yeah,
I feel terrible about that.
I have Dallas Goedert, AJ Brown, and Devonte Smith all going over 1,000 yards.
Ooh,
Yeah,
let's get bold tonight.
yeah. We got takes tonight.
All three over 1,000.
All 3 over 1,000. AJ Brown, 78 catches, 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. Devonte Smith, 73 catches, 1,009, 6 touchdowns. Dallas Goedert, 78 catches, 1,007, and 5 touchdowns. So I have Goddard and Devonte Smith just squeaking over. But yeah, that'll be one of my bold takes, I guess, this offseason. Those 3
Eagles,
all over 1,000.
3,000-yard players. That's bold.
3,000-yard receivers or pass catchers for the Eagles.
You're gonna get the fun chirps about that.
It's extra bold because they ran the ball a lot more than they threw the ball last year.
Yeah, they did. But I think that they're gonna have to throw the ball more to like. It's all like I don't know. You don't trade for AJ Brown and give him the deal, and then like okay, well, we're just going to be content to throw the ball the same amount we owe. Like, they're going to have to expect that next step out of Jalen Hurts. They have to. Otherwise, like you said, it went horribly wrong, and they're back in the quarterback market next year. So, yeah, bold, but you got to live dangerously sometimes.
I thought that sounded like I have 3 guys at 800 yards. Feels 2 to 800, 1 1,000 with Hurts felt weird, but
what can I say? I love Jalen Hurts.
the heart just got warm. It's not the bourbon.
My bold take on this team is that Jalen Reagor doesn't make it out of training camp.
I agree. I didn't even stat him out. Yeah.
I didn't stat him out either. They got Zach Pascal, Quez Watkins, a good wide receiver 3.
Yep.
I don't think
Greg Ward, man. He's led that team before.
If Greg Ward's there, then he's better than Reagor too. I don't see a spot for Reagor.
No, honestly, I don't either. I thought about like getting cute at the end, like, oh, what can I give him? But it's nothing. He's not. No. You can't project him any work right now. Zach Pascal, like, he's not great, but he's an NFL player, which is, you know what I mean. You can at least count on him for something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Quez Watkins, I think, is a little underrated sometimes. I think
I got a nice little season for Quez Watkins.
What'd you get, Quez Watkins?
I got him 762-2. It's not
okay,
terrible.
I like it.
762.
He's moving. He's wide receiver 3 on the team, man. He's going to be wide receiver 3.
So that's why you hate Dallas Goedert.
No, I hate Dallas Goedert apparently because
Watkins.
I hate Dallas Goedert because apparently you guys just think Jalen Hurts is just going to toss all the touchdowns this year. He threw 16 last year. What do you think? He's just going to get really good throwing those touchdowns? I don't know about that.
26 isn't that much.
20. It's a 10 touchdown advance.
You don't think an improved offense that's healthy? It has receivers who didn't work at the local Wawa a week before.
You say improved offense. You guys are forgetting that this is one of the most efficient running teams in the league. I understand you want them to throw more. You said it yourself. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I agree with that.
They can run.
Also got AJ Brown there now, who's going to open everything up. AJ Brown and Dave Smith are just 2 explosive guys.
All right, well, let's talk the backfield. Is it Miles Sanders' backfield, or how'd you guys do it?
Better be.
They hate Miles Sanders.
They ran the ball so well, and you look at his stat line, you're like, that doesn't make sense.
What's the gap between Miles Sanders and the second guy that you have on the team?
104 points.
Oh, yeah, it's quite a bit.
Oh, okay. Then we're all about to disagree on somebody. Or I'm about to disagree on somebody.
I don't have Sanders having a huge year here. Like, I have him at 175 attempts, which is probably lower than people want. 875 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns, and then 264 and 1 through the air. He doesn't even break 180 points for me. They use all of them.
Yeah. I have a 208 PPR points and 938 on the ground, 6 touchdowns, 275 in the air, 2 touchdowns.
See, you're what fantasy football wants him to happen. That's what fantasy football wants. I hope that happens.
Me too, man. It might be me being like, I feel like me giving Boston Scott 110 rushing attempts only was just a mistake on my part.
I gave him 90. He just trugs along. It's like a cockroach.
He's so freaking annoying.
I gave Sanders 156 attempts, Scott 109 attempts, and Kenny Gainwell 114 attempts.
I gave him 85.
I gave Gainwell 80, but I have him catching 36 balls.
So I'm catching 27 balls.
I have Gainwell out producing Boston Scott, but everyone knows I have a very, very soft spot for Kenneth Gainwell. So
I have Gainwell at 4 points more than Scott.
I am 4 fantasy points more than Scott.
Yes, 4 PPR points.
I have him like 90 PPR points ahead of him.
Yeah, I think I'm like 40 points ahead of him.
Yeah, I get the 40. Gap between Sanders and Gainwell for me is really only like 32 points.
I have Scott with 8 touchdowns though. Like I have his yards. I think he gets all of that inside the 10 work, inside the 5 work.
Yeah.
So that's what separates them. I don't production wise and yardage wise, it goes in Gainwell's favor, but Scott's don't get the end zone. Miles Sanders could have 250 carries, but Boston Scott will get every single carry inside the 5.
This is a very interesting offense, and I'm very intrigued to see how Nick Sirianni plots it out.
Yeah.
I only feel really confident in Goddard and Hurts.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like with
I think
where
Goddard's a value.
you said Brown was going what, round 3 for dynasty startups?
Something like that, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I wonder where Smith is going.
I'll bring up their deal.
Too late.
Is it too late?
Too late.
I'd feel comfortable in I think round 5
he's
would be
falling.
probably
You
the
can get him later
earliest.
than you can get him later than round 5.
Yeah, he's
Really?
falling.
Hold
Really?
on. I'm in a few startups right now.
And he's like, I'm in 14 leagues right now. Let me check.
I'm in a few startups right now. Let's see where Devonta Smith has gone. Just see if we can pick him out here real quick.
So AJ Brown's going 11-8 in ADP on DLF. And holy shit. 58. So Devonta's going as wide receiver 30.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
And AJ Brown is wide receiver 5.
Everyone's drafting AJ Brown as if he's like a 1,410 guy.
Yeah.
And they're paying him like that. You better produce like that. If AJ Brown craps out another season like he did the past 3 years, there's going to be some upset people, not only in fantasy, but in Philadelphia with that contract that they gave him. I'm going to tell you right now. He needs to produce more than what he did the last couple of years.
He needs to go old school TO.
He really does. And I'm not saying he doesn't have that in him. He 100% has that in him. But that's the bar. That's the bar for AJ Brown with where we're plopping him up on that pedestal. You better put that. My bold prediction is going to be Devonte Smith outproduces him. That's going to be one of my bold predictions.
I like that one. All right. Anything that we want to wrap up with these two teams before we get on out of here and talk the other half of this division?
Yeah, I was about to say. We moaned and groaned about these two, this division. These two were fun to talk about. The next two is going to be like pulling teeth.
Yeah, it's gonna be terrible. There's a lot of fantasy players in this division. This is fun.
Yeah.
Even on the bad teams, there's some stars. This is cool.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Dynasty Big Board. So we'll be back on Friday with the other half of this division, Washington and the Giants. That's right, the G-Men.
So bad you can't remember their name.
No, that episode's going to be exciting. Lots of, Terry McLaurin's got a shiny new deal. There's lots to talk about over there. So that'll do it for this one. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Dynasty Big Board, part of the Rookie Big Board Podcast Network. So we'll be back on Friday, but be sure to tune in tomorrow to hear from our friends on the Devy Big Board. We'll talk to you guys later this week.
Later, taters.